In this video we're going to show you how we go about taking this brass grill and this fireplace right here, and this brass is a little out to date now, and we're actually going to be painting it and making it look more up to date. We're going to be using a high heat semi-gloss paint to paint this with. We'll be removing all this brass, be sanding it with some sandpaper to give it a nice rough profile so our paint will actually bond to it, and then we'll be reinstalling it. It'll have a lot more updated look to it. So I'm going to show you that process, how we go about painting this brass right now. So the first step of the process is to start removing all this brass to begin prepping it to paint. We're going to remove it and then we're going to clean it with a cleaner. We're just going to use some Dawn dish soap. We're going to clean it all, let it dry, and then we're going to sand it with some fine sanding sponges to get it rough enough to accept the paint so it won't peel. So these little brass plates, they actually just rotate and pop off. So we're just going to begin removing them all and begin the prepping process and start painting. You can see they just all pop off just like this, come right off. Begin painting them. The side edges, we're just going to mask those off because they don't actually come off. The doors, we're going to pull them out, and the brass is actually just screwed on those doors, so we'll unscrew that, take it off, and then we'll be cleaning, prepping, and painting those. Give you a little bit closer look. We're just grab these things, they just rotate and pop right off. And we can just open up these doors right here, and the doors have screws on it right here that holds this brass on here. We'll just begin removing that and then continue with our prepping process. We've got the top piece here too. This piece is actually just held on by some Phillips head screws. I'll just remove these. So the majority of this brass will actually just come right off. Now I'm just going to begin removing these top pieces off the doors here. These are glass doors, and we got this brass that's surrounding the top piece here. Okay, now we've removed all the brass pieces that are easy to remove. These two, a little more complicated. It's easier just to throw some masking paper around these two and these side edges, and we can just sand those right in place and spray those right in place. But we got the other ones out over here. We're going to begin cleaning them with our cleaner and then sanding them. So now we're going to begin the prepping process of this brass. Now I got this brass right here, got some fine sanding sponges, some sandpaper, paper, and rubber paper just to begin sanding this, whatever works best to get around the angles. And we'll just begin lightly sanding it, get it nice and scuffed up, then we're going to clean them with Dawn, our dish soap, to make sure there's no contaminants. So it just takes a little bit of light sanding just so you can see that it's scratched and scuffed up. If you don't sand it, then you're not going to create a rough enough profile for your paint to bond to, and it probably could actually peel off pretty easily since it is a really smooth brass finish. So just like that, so this piece is sanded. It's got a nice, good, scratched up profile on it. Now I'll begin cleaning it with my dish soap. So when you get ready to clean them, we just actually use Dawn dish soap. It actually rinses off, doesn't leave a residue, and we use it to actually get any contaminants off so you don't get any fisheye in where it's actually beading away. Dawn dish soap, just a simple, inexpensive soap, and we typically use a sponge and a scouring pad. So once we get these things all cleaned with our Dawn dish soap, we're gonna let them dry. We got some paper right here that we're actually gonna just lay them out and spray them on. We're just gonna be using, it's on a fireplace, so you definitely gotta have a high heat paint because it's probably gonna get pretty hot. We're just using a Rust-Oleum high heat semi-gloss paint right here. Hopefully you can see that spray can. It's a self-priming can, so we don't have to prime them first, because if you do have to prime them, because they are going to be getting pretty hot, you'd have to use a high heat primer too. But this Rust-Oleum is a self-priming paint, primer and paint in one, so we'll just be spraying them with this and they'll look brand new once they're all sprayed, and then we're going to let them dry and then reinstall them. So we're actually inside spraying these things because it's actually pretty cold outside. It's wintertime, been snowing, raining, snowing most of the time. But we've got a drop cloth down, got some paper down, just to make sure we don't get any overspray on the floor. But we've been painting the walls inside here, so everything's covered up already. You want to make sure you shake your can up really good and then begin spraying them. So we're spraying these things. This product actually dries extremely fast, about 30 minutes. We're actually going to be putting 2 coats on each one of these pieces of metal, and then we'll be letting them set to dry overnight. So we're getting our first coat on, be applying our second coat here pretty soon. We're going to finish spraying all these things. We're going to let them set a day, and then we'll reassemble it back on the fireplace. We're actually spraying the fireplace brick too and painting that, and we're going to let that dry, let all these pieces dry, and reassemble it, and you'll see what it looks like when it's all done. Got our rails right here, sitting here drying. They're just almost dry, but you can see they look nice, shiny, brand new. So now we've got this all masked off. These were our fixed pieces of brass on our fireplace right here. We sprayed 2 coats on these. Then we're just gonna pull off this masking. We used a 3M hand masker right here with 9-inch paper and 3M 2020 tape to mask it off. We did paint this fireplace all around here. This was a red brick fireplace that we painted with a solid color concrete stain, and we got that painted, and now we're going to pull this off, and this whole fireplace is going to have a whole new look to it. It's going to have nice semi-gloss black paint on our brass, and our red brick is now a white color.